Alright, Jund Midrange. What is Midrange, you ask if you're a newer Magic player? This is an archetype that's had a rough time in a lot of Magic formats of the late, but I think this deck is very reasonable and competitive and historic. Midrange decks at their core refer to a style of deck that's aggressive in some matchups, and it's defensive or controlling in others. So you assume different roles depending on what matchup that you're playing. So the core of this deck is it has a food package here with Witch's Oven, Gilded Goose, Cat, and then Trail of Crumbs here to generate card advantage with. And then we have things like Priest of the Forgotten Gods, Maelstrom Pulse, and Ratchet Bomb as interaction. And then we have Kroxa, Titan of Death Hunger, and Roar of the Wurm to close out games with. And then we've got Lurrus here in our companion slot to generate some other card advantage. So let's go ahead and pop on into some matchup with this. This is one of the many excellent decks you can find up on the historic section of my website now. Interested to play some games with Roar and see how it goes. It looks like my website's alive again, for those wondering. You missed a cut. For someone asking, did you miss something? You missed a cut the line donation. So Merfolk will stay in the deck queue and be towards the top for tomorrow. Trail of Crumbs is an excellent pickup here with Goose. Trail plus Goose provide an endless flow of cards usually, which is great. Need to step on my bird. So we're hoping to draw a black source here, so that way next turn we can go Kroxa or Citrus Supplier plus Kroxa activate Priest. Yep, feels bad. Difference between being a competitive game and not being competitive is a missed land drop, but that's Magic, right? Like, Magic's got an incredible amount of variance in it. If we hit our land drop there, I think our opponent's pretty far behind and they're gonna have a hard time catching up. We missed our land drop though, so we just die on the spot. Trim, a Roar. I think I want my trophies here too. Probably more than Maelstrom Pulse. And trim an extra Goose, maybe? Maybe a Trail of Crumbs. Peak Magic player Twitch chat idiocy is me pointing out how the difference between winning and losing that game was hitting a land drop, as is frequently the case in Magic, and someone piping up with their idiotic opinion that they think something needs to be banned. Pipe down, Twitch chat. Pipe down. I promise you, whatever crappy brew you're playing that can't beat the Naya Winota deck, I promise you that if something gets banned out of Naya Winota, there's going to be a different best deck that also beats your bad brew. If your brew is not capable of being competitive against the deck that really cares about creature removal, your deck's just garbage. There's always this group of people that are bad deck builders, that are bad at assessing, and they always think that, like, whatever the top deck is, that's the deck that's keeping their brew down. When in reality, their deck's just bad, and whatever deck is the best deck, if it was removed, something else would beat their bad deck down. Most decks in Magic suck, chat. And it's not the best deck's fault that your deck sucks. Maybe you should have a little bit of introspective and think about what your actual game plan is and how it interacts with the field. It's much easier to just say, no, it's the tier 1 deck's fault. The Wurm token is sweet. You're not wrong. Wurm token is quite good. Quite excellent. Sure. Hand's not amazing, but certainly in the range of fine, I think. Goose into Trail is quite reasonable. Alright, so what are we looking for here? Like a priest? You mean historic Gyruda rat colony isn't tier 0? It is not. Negative. Okay, it's a good pickup. Exactly what we wanted for Christmas, chat. Oh, Skinner. Best of one, is that even magic? I'm gonna give you a timeout for that comment, because I think comments like that are very rude and egotistical. Just because you personally don't enjoy a particular type of Magic the Gathering doesn't mean that that type of magic is not magic. Super, super elitist. And definitely not welcome in my spaces. There are plenty of people that enjoy best of one Magic, and I'm glad that there are. Not every type of person needs to enjoy every type of Magic for it to be magic. It's incredibly rude to imply that just because you don't like a particular type of Magic, it's not real magic. I was thinking about actually putting some dollars in and like playing for the lands as well as the potential to do the thing. Hey, thanks for the Bezo Bucks, Snugglebear. I appreciate it. And then they announced that the format's gonna change on Monday, and I really don't. I really don't care. Ran out of things to give. For people that haven't been keeping up, they've announced that there will be ban list changes in Historic and Standard on Monday. They also announced that ban list changes in Historic and Standard on Monday, and that they're going to be changing how companions work potentially. I'll whale 20k for some pretty lands. Yeah, exactly. My Winota. Well, that's just rude. Hopefully they're unbannings in Historic. My hope is that they're basically just going to be preemptively banning. My hope is that they intend to just like preemptively ban in Historic whatever they're banning in Standard. Would be my hope. They're just gonna be like, well, this is too good in Standard, and we also don't like the play patterns in Historic. Let's just get rid of it. My big hope would be they make the announcement, we are unbanning and rebalancing Oko, because he's a sweet planeswalker that's really close to being ideal. That would be the power play. Vanu, thanks for gifting a sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Historic is a digital-only format. Just be like, we're unbanning Oko, and his +1's now a -1. Or we're unbanning Oko, and he starts with less loyalty. We're unbanning Oko, so he only has a +1 instead of a +2. I agree, Brandon. I think any card that's banned in every format on Magic Arena should get rebalanced and re-released as a historic-only card. We're probably getting another Goblin Rune Blaster here, since we're missing on lands. Yeah, that's brutal. Maybe I'm supposed to just trophy this. Hey, Hives, thanks for 24 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Well, I guess I'm doing this before I lose another land. If this is a creature, it's probably turning into another Rune Blaster, unfortunately. Probably should have trophied this on my turn. Of course, if I trophied this on my turn, they would have been able to Winota us this turn. They could even just use the same artwork, Brandon, and rename it. Like, if they want to keep it true to paper Magic and want it to be less confusing, just leave Oko's sexy abs on the card and just call him Oko something else. How do you balance Veil and/or once? You'd make Veil of Summer scry 1 instead of drawing a card, and once upon a time you just delete because the card's really offensive. I think you just rename it. Yeah, Oko something else, and then you just have the same artwork. I don't think that's overly confusing. Feel free to disagree, that's subjective. I do not think that would be overly confusing. Maybe zoomed in, I only want the abs. There you go. Alright, hoping to draw some lands here. Yeah, I agree. I also think the people that say, oh, I forgot to bring this back and cycle it. That's awkward. I think the people that say things like that would be too confusing for people. I think formats like Historic are supposed to be more complicated than Standard, so it's okay if they're more complicated. I think having that be slightly more complex is fine. Alright, so really just want another land next turn. I mean, Magic players are going to complain regardless. If we just, like, didn't do things because Magic players would complain about it, like, nothing would ever happen. Okay, I mean, this blocks 1/1s at least. And we get to cast stuff with it starting next turn. I like how there's just, like, randomly an oven right here. I swear to God, I experienced more bugs with Magic Arena since moving to Windows than I did playing on Linux under Wine. Okay. All right. Yeah, that bug is on what's it called too? 10 out of 10 that bug exists on Linux as well. think we're just escaping Kroxa here. I don't get to use Lurrus this turn, but pretty sure I just want a 6/6 in play. Just gotta fade another copy of Winota for a little bit here. And we don't even have to actually fade that long either, because like they're gonna die pretty quickly to Kroxa plus Cat. And I can like play other Kroxas and stuff out for my bin using Lurrus. Yeah, they're actually dead. If this is a brick, they're dead next turn. We get a trigger from this attack, and then we play this, and then we replay it from the bin, and then we use the cat. Sick. Yeah, they're actually dead. Again, I think these interactive decks tend to be very good. Against this one on archetype. Little bit of disruption, pair it with a clock, you're good to go. We got Rune Blastered 3 times this game for people that are counting. We've not played a game with Roar the Wurm yet. Orphan Guard. This is a mulligan with Roar in the opener and no green mana. Orphan Guard generally means Jeskai control or some kind of control archetype. Lurrus deck functional on 2 lands, yep. I think I'm bottoming this, assuming they're a control deck here. Yeah, they could be some kind of dinosaur deck too. Not guaranteed to be controlled by any means. Alright, confirmed to be control. The sleeves give it away. That would be an excellent juke, wouldn't it? Just like Cryptic Command sleeves, Orphan Guard, play an aggro deck. I'm going to lead on this because I want to try and hit my land drops here in the early turns. So playing this with the goose out means I can dig for a land. Do I want red mana or another black source? Probably the guaranteed red. That's a Tamiyo avatar, right? Almost missed making food there. Hit it just in time. Oh, is that Vanafear? It is Vanafear, isn't it? Best of one uses hand fixing. That's what I meant by is it even magic? Then the answer to your very stupid question is yes. With hand fixing, it's still magic. Your question is still elitist and aimed to put down something that's different because it's different than what you're used to. If that's your intention is still elitist. and still attempts to portray it as less than because it's different. Do I like the hand fixing? Yes, the variance in Magic is god-awful. And things like that reduce the fixing. I actually wish they'd go a step further. God, it seems like forever since I've given this speech. There's probably a lot of people in chat that haven't heard this before. So, there was a really old game that's basically now defunct called Hex TCG. And they had a resource system similar to lands in their game. And what they did to address variance digitally was so incredibly elegant. So what they did in their game was they used a hypergeometric distribution and looked at the range of hands your deck could generate, and they just got rid of the 10% most resource light hands and 5% most resource dense hands, and your deck just didn't give you hands that were in the bottom 10 or upper 5%. So basically everybody just mulliganed less because you didn't get hands that were no resources or all resources as often. It was a really, really slick digital solution to a game that had resources as cards in it. I think it's much, much more elegant than, like, the hack job Arena does, basically. Yeah, Bait Weave was a digital-only mechanic. That's different. Alright, I think we're Kroxing here and eating it again, and then playing Priest out again. What was the game where you burned cards? That was Mythgard. Mythgard is still in active development, and I plan to poke at them a little bit more on stream when they release their second set eventually. They have their first draft of their in-tournament client. In-client tournaments working already or soon or something like that, which is neat. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough to play the hand denial game when they have a Drawn from Dreams. Their in-client tournaments are already live. Okay, sweet. I haven't fully kept up on their development. Like I said, my non-work, non-family time has mostly disappeared with everything that's happened with COVID. My tiny amounts of non-work, non-family time are spent trying to get some exercise in or playing Raid. Sometimes, a lot of the time at the same time. I walk around the neighborhood and play Raid at the same time. Alright, so we've got 5 cards in here. Can't quite escape Kroxa yet. What am I doing with Lurrus? I think I'm just playing Priest. I want to try and get Priest going. Yeah, but like, the Mythgard tournament mode is super ambitious, right? Because they're giving people the ability to run their own tournaments and customize the options in them. I believe it's not just like their own official tournaments. They're trying to like give their community the ability to run their own customizable community events, which is a lot more ambitious than like what Magic Online has, for example. Speaking of small indie projects that had really rough starts that are trying to make the best of it, did you hear Artifact 2 went into its beta period recently, and they let their first wave of players in for that one? I heard. Oh. How did Artifact 2 change the gameplay? Based on the preview video that I saw, it didn't change it by very much. Which is probably a problem. Okay, so I'm gonna play... The cat's a good draw. Yeah, I do have a full set of artifact cards. So we're going to play Cat. We're going to full control mode. We're going to play Kroxa. This'll come in. Kroxa's trigger happens. We'll use Priest to make them sacrifice. They do, however, have a castle here to activate, unfortunately, so we don't get the shark. We will at least get to play another Kroxa from our bin, though. Actually, we can escape Kroxa from the bin here, right? We have enough mana for that. I don't get to draw with the Priest, but that's fine, because the cat's coming back. There's only exactly 6 cards in my bin. Do I want to play Artifact copy and pasted the MTGO business model in 2019, and whoever approved that being a good idea, I hope they were let go. Whoever was like, you know what we should do? We should copy and paste the MTGO wildly successful business model. I hope whoever suggested that was kindly showed the door. You can bring the cat back. No, I'm going to bring Kroxa back and make another food and take the last card out of their hand with my Lurrus trigger, or my Lurrus ability for the turn. Oh, I forgot about Trail of Crumbs. Streamer missed a good play! Streamer! Streamer, why didn't you make the good play, Streamer?
I've got time.
Streamer, why no make good play, Streamer?
We need to move quickly.
And we're dead. Look at that! Look at how much that mattered! Look at how much missing the good play mattered, chat. Alright, so Agonizing Remorse in, Claim the Firstborn out. I think I'm trimming the Ratchet Bombs. Like, their shark tokens really aren't. By the time their shark tokens are relevant, usually we're dying. Roar the Wurm's not perfect against Teferi, but I think it's important to keep all my things that apply pressure. Kroxa also isn't perfect against Teferi. I think I'd rather have Maelstrom Pulse than Trophy, so I'm just going to submit like this. We're going to bring in Remorses and cut these two. This is fine. Not amazing, but fine. We'll fetch Forest here, and then turn 2, we'll go Goose Cat, and then we can Trail of Crumbs after, which is nice. Glad I brought my Maelstrom Pulse. Glad I brought my Maelstrom Pulse. Fiery Temper. Fiery Temper will be in Historic eventually. Everything that's in Pioneer will eventually come to Historic. A good thing to remember. This was a viewer submission, Mono. I don't want to get drawing cards right away. Historic and Pioneer are the same thing. That is not what I said. I said all of the cards that are in Pioneer will eventually be in Historic. Historic already contains a number of cards that are not Pioneer legal, and there will be more cards added to Historic that are not Pioneer legal, nor will they become Pioneer legal. Eventually, Historic will be like Pioneer Plus. Historic will be to Pioneer as Vintage is to Legacy. Everything in Legacy will be in... Everything in Pioneer will be in Historic, but not everything in Historic will be in Pioneer. They're also going to be managed to be a different ban list, I'd imagine. There's already a number of cards in Historic that are legal here that are banned in Pioneer. Urkadar, thanks for the 37 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Anyone know a bank that converts shillings to USD? Asking the real questions.
This is overwhelming.
Try and find an oven here or something. Mojo! Thank you for the 22 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Ugh. Catching some Winota Flak hate here. Feels bad, man. Hey, Super LaSalle, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Glandia. Giving a good one wherever you're at. And I'm actually gonna have a really hard time getting the second cage off the table. Maybe I should just leave a couple of Ratchet Bombs or board in.
Let's try this.
Or board in the extra trophies preemptively. I only have one other Pulse in my deck right now.
Won't let you win.
And like the big upside to Ratchet Bomb, which makes a nice addition to this deck, is with Ratchet Bomb, you can find it off of Trail of Crumbs, whereas Maelstrom Pulse, you cannot. Because Ratchet Bomb is a permanent. This only finds permanents. You always leave 2 bombs in. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think I'm going to go ahead and fetch a land tier. And then we'll make a food, eat a food, pay 1, draw a card. We're going to have our first 7 mana Roar of the Wurm this game. We have a sweeper here. Sure. We do get to skip the second land. You're not wrong. Okay. If the Motley Crew is going to be enough here without power from the graveyard.
Don't make another move.
Hey, Spider. Thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
We want to use a land to pay for Trail, and then we could have used green mana from the Goose. That's a good thought. So I could have cast another Goose here. I mean, do I want to cast another Goose into a sweeper, though? That's a real question as well, though. We're not 0% here, but we're pretty low. I can concede rather than get Nexus defeated. I think the control matchups for this deck are probably the most challenging, especially when they see multiple of their hate cards. Our ability to play through their stuff depends pretty heavily on our graveyard, so when they're able to cage us like that, it's rough. Probably lead on Oven here. Oven into Priest, and to hopefully draw another creature to sacrifice to Priest on ooh, if they're an elf deck, sick. Okay, so you get to go this into Priest into Cat plus Claim You, which is excellent. Just Jake, thanks for the 2/3 of the year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. See how wide they go here on 2. The fact that Ratchet Bomb is double colorless and gives you something to cast off of this too is nice. Great, didn't get stomped. Land? Land? So this makes a food, and then we can bring the cat back. Then we can use this one to dig for a land with Trail of Crumbs. Swish. Swish. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm supposed to grab the green source there and play the Goose out. That's probably what's supposed to happen. I'm supposed to grab the green source there and play the Goose out. Alright. How many Redcap Melees do I bring into this matchup? Magic Online is up now. Just the classic 4 hours of downtime in the middle of the day. Peak quality application things. I know we just got in trouble for boarding Ratchet Bombs out. Like, what else do I cut here? I feel like I don't want to trim all the geese. In fact, even trimming this one, it might be right to just trim another trail. This is 8 pieces of removal. You want to get rid of Roar? I feel like having extra 6/6s is like really good here. Yeah, it's probably Trail, you're right. Ratchet Bomb is, so like, the people that are saying like Ratchet Bomb is okay here, it's really god-awful slow, chat. Like, it's flexible, but like, to kill 2 drops with, if you're killing 2 drops with Ratchet Bomb, you play Ratchet Bomb on 2, it goes to 1, on 3 it goes to 2, and then on turn 4 it finally kills their 2 drops? It's fine. It would like a way to sacrifice things we claim, Just like we drew it up, chat. Just like we drew it up. Hoping to draw a red source next turn, or a green source so we can, well, poop. Well, poop. I don't know, I think there's an argument, Bob. If I'm cutting the Trail of Crumbs, Maelstrom Pulse might be better, because the upside to Ratchet Bomb over Pulse is that Ratchet Bomb can be found with Trail. I think I'm actually gonna swap that here. I think if I'm cutting trails here, the upside to leave this in is like it casts with Lurrus, I guess. I think I'd rather have the card that kills them right away. Look at that. That command's still there. Sick. I'm actually gonna add, so we're gonna keep playing this deck for a little bit there, but I just pulled up a command in chat for a game that we did a sponsored segment with once in the past. I'm gonna play a little bit more of that at the end of today's stream. They asked me if I was interested in doing another one. It's a cute little single player game that was funny last time we played it. Yeah, well, it was fun. I actually finished my run with that one off stream after we did our one segment. The modern deck we played was okay. Ended up getting cut a little bit short though because Moto had downtime this morning, which was unfortunate. What are spells? What are spells? I guess I'm just doing this and passing. I make a green mana. And I'm gonna do this and trophy the one that they don't sacrifice. Well, drawing Roar is super awkward in this deck because we don't have a way to discard it. So it's just like a 7-drop. This draw's good, because it means any creature lets us edict them, and that's actually fine, because now we get to play Roar next turn for 7 mana. Their hand's just like Stone Cold nothing? Wild. Is Roar just bad? I don't know. I definitely haven't played enough games to have an answer to that question, Bob. 0% chance I've played enough games to have an answer to that. Like, this deck often goes long. And, like, in games that go long, and we have a little bit of acceleration, like, casting this for 7 is not completely embarrassing. Yeah, it was just, like, not linear enough, not interactive enough, Mari. what it came down to. Six sixes are very good against Gruul, chat. Is Roar the Wurm bad? Cast Roar, opponent concedes, you do the math. A little reductionist, but I like where your head's at. Hey, Everath, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh no, please don't discard my Kroxa. Oh no. I'm playing Naya Winota Historic. What do you do against the Mardu Humans deck? They were giving me fits yesterday. Probably just die. I think the interactive mid-range decks and interactive aggressive decks are hard matchups for Winota. You basically need to board into an interactive deck against them and just try and play like the spare game of Magic, but you're also like not super good at doing that. Yes, Jacob. What's up, my dude? What do you need to tell me?
Well, what to show my border? Oh, my page on my border.
You want to watch the show?
Yeah.
You can watch the show, dude. Go for it. Go for it. Close my door behind you. You're trying Hanged Executioner and Winota for interaction? Stop it. Get some help. I believe you that Hanged Executioner is fine in Winota. Don't you dare try and sell me your 7-mana Doomblade as interaction though. Come on now. Ain't so long, Lurrus. You know, Bob, one thing I'm not a huge fan of in this build that you have together is that I really like having some kind of way to recover Lurrus from my graveyard. And in the build on my site, I've been playing some Binding of the Titans, and I think I like that inclusion. And not like my Lurrus being gone for good feels real bad after it eats it. So they didn't have a sweeper last turn, so I think I'm just playing this and hoping they don't have it this turn. Yeah, being like a scotch of like main deck graveyard hate is also relevant. I'm actually just not playing Ratchet Bomb in my main deck, Bob. I've got 2 Ratchet Bombs in the sideboard. I've got Roars in the list on my site, and I've got no Ratchet Bombs. Deputy of Detention, well that's brutal. Remember the dark days when Goose didn't honk, right? Rough. Yeah, maybe we'll add some bindings in after this set. I could also see a world. I've got some Maelstrom Pulses in the main deck on my website. I could see main decking Bomb over Pulse being good. I forgot to make a food there because I was talking and clicking. Scottish, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. What's the deck of the day? We played a really good one earlier. What did we play? Oh, Green-Black Citadel. Green-Black Citadel was stellar today. I have Trophy main deck. Yeah, that's right. I forgot I did that. Yeah, Trophy main deck is smart because it interacts with Winota. Look at that. Past Jeff is so smart. Yeah, Past Jeff, thinking of things and stuff. Alright, Ratchet Bomb killing food does not trigger Trail of Crumbs, worth noting here. And then we probably just get buried here, right? Like, they're about to play Yorion, blink all of these. It'll be pretty impressive if we can come back from here. It's not necessarily impossible, because, like, Trail of Crumbs is a heck of a magic card. Yeah, I mean, the Ratchet Bomb's definitely charging up. To what's the question, though? One of the nice things about Ratchet Bomb is you don't have to really commit to a specific thing that you're getting to. You can, like, change your mind as you see what you get. Taking my Trail of Crumbs, yep. Your food doesn't get killed. If you crack Ratchet Bomb on 0, your food gets killed. Let's destroy tokens. These are converted mana cost 0. Hoping to draw like a cat next turn or a Kroxa so we can activate Priest. Maelstrom Pulse. Wait, are there really not HA3 cards on Cardboard Live? I should poke them. When it rains, it pours, chat. When it rains, it pours. So, sacrificing this denies them the card draw with Teferi. And it kills my cat, so I get to draw another card with Trail of Crumbs. So, like, win-win. A little bit of a sequencing mistake here on the opponent's part. Oh, that's a good call. Yeah, I forgot that worked that way. Yeah, it's been a hot second. I should have sacked all of these foods and drawn 2 more cards. I bet we win this game if I remember to do that. We're just like +2 cards here and then start activating Priest. Let's draw a Kroxa, huh? How about another flipping land? If we'd had more cards, it wouldn't have mattered. Sure, why not? I want discard spells here. They're like, kind of like creature control. Maybe Roar is just not good enough against their deputy deck that blinks it in and out. And play Teferi too. Alright, let's try this. How's the Mant deck? Unplayable. Can we lead on this and just Kroxa plus eat it on 2? Little punished for not bottoming a land. What happens at 3:30 Central Blue Fire? Men in space. SpaceX is Elon Musk's, like, private space thing, right? This is an excellent draw here. Will give us enough fuel for these down the line. And part of me sits and wonders as I sit here and play this match, like, is this game we're playing gonna be relevant on either side come Monday? Like, they said they're gonna potentially change companions, so like, are Lurrus and Yorion gonna play out remotely the same once they make their changes? Or are we playing two dead decks? We want to shock in the land that turn in Lurrus. No, you want to get value with your Lurrus the turn you play it. So shocking in a land and playing the Lurrus and not guaranteeing yourself a trigger with it is not ideal. When is my baby leave starting? As soon as she gets here. They don't exactly schedule themselves on your calendar. How rude, right? You're eating my oven? Sure. Have a removal spell for this too? Wow, that's brutal. Wow, that's brutal. Yeah, this is the best removal spell for Kroxa, for sure. We're actually doing okay here. Like, they get to get rid of my food here, but then I get to Maelstrom Pulse their Yorion, and like my Lurrus is still in play, generating plenty of value. So like I feel a little bit sad at the moment, but at the same time it's like, well, we're actually in an okay spot, right? I'm gonna eat this and try and find another land here, so that way we can play Priest this turn, he says before he swings and misses. You scheduled your second for December 27th. How's that work? C-section. Do they schedule C-sections in advance? Wild. Weird. The history of complication, sure. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought you had to be like past the due date or past a certain number of weeks. I guess it probably varies depending on who you have as a doctor too. Tagging a shepherd there works pretty well. And then I think I'm just gonna go ahead and... Am I playing another supplier? Yeah, digging for another Kroxa sounds good here. I'm happy with how we boarded. Let's run it back. Usually based on the birth of your other children. That makes sense. They have a little bit of history there. There might have been a Twitter post there. I gave someone who gave me a comment that I feel is kind of stupid a little bit of respect in a response because there's someone I know there's someone that I've met in real life and engaged with, but their point's bad. Their point is bad and they should feel bad. They made the very bold claim that announcing bans immediately and then saying they take effect a week from now is the exact same as generically announcing bans will happen and not being specific about it, which is just fundamentally incorrect. Announcing what changes would happen right away wouldn't trap people into not being able to test and prepare for their upcoming tournaments, which is what we have now. People would be equipped with information and would be able to test privately. Even if they couldn't use things like the ladder to efficiently test. Just taking the time wipe here. Yeah, announcing what's being banned allows you to stop playing with pointless cards. You could also even play in matches on the ladder with decks that are going to be legal post-update, and then, just concede matches to people.
Stand by and watch.
So we'll eat the food here so that way they don't draw a card. Thanks for the 15 months, One-Eyed Wonder Weasel. Yeah, or not waste wild cards on your deck. It doesn't put people into a crafting freeze. Now, the part of their statement that was correct is announcing right away, but then not having it take effect for a week doesn't stop tournaments from being lame duck tournament formats, but that's not something you could fix. But acting... Just crafted the Winota deck with 16 rares. And maybe it's gonna be fine. And maybe it's not. Nobody knows. Well, so here's the thing. People are saying waste wild cards to refund them. They only refund the card they actually ban, chat. So if they ban Winota, but leave Angrath's Marauders legal, guess what? Your Angrath's Marauders still aren't useful. So there's more nuance to it than just they refund you so it's fine, craft whatever. Yeah, non-sanctioned things could happen in advance. There's just like I said, it's if the person who tweeted that at me wasn't someone that I've interacted with in real life before, I wouldn't have cut them slack and I wouldn't have responded to them and explained why I feel they're wrong. It would have just been a block. Yeah, we're just dead at this point. The two tinfoil hattie, do you think the MPL may already know? No, there's a good chance a lot of people... Someone else in my Twitter mentions brought up the fact that the way they have a delay here can potentially let them leak information so people can speculate and profit off of advanced information too. Which, while that's almost certainly a little tinfoil hattie, it's definitely very possible. There's no regulations surrounding Magic the Gathering cards in general and things like that. They make the whole deck permanent, basically, except for these two. Let's try this. Hey, Vale DC, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, Ratchet Bomb is, like, flexible, but it's definitely slow and cumbersome. This is fine. We'll bottom a bomb. The enchantment stack was sweet when it got to do its thing, but it did not get to do its thing very often or very consistently. Not particularly interactive, not particularly linear. Okay. Okay, Wurm's looking pretty good here. Turn 4 Wurm against Skrull. You think I can fit anything else in my mouth alongside my foot, chat? Think there's anything else? Think there's anything else that can fit up in there? They made a mana. Okay. Okay.
Together, we will prevail. The land
So they are not Gruul aggro. They're like Gruul ramp. Interesting. Was this a good draw? Does anybody know? Was this draw good? Let me vote in chat. Thanks for the 10 months, Bill Nye. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around.
cease this aggression.
Cease this aggression. This is my 6/6. Go. Get to play a game here at least. Cat with oven, kind of racist Clothis. Wurm token, sweet. The Wurm does not have trample. Accurate.
Harness the elements.
Did I forget to eat the priest? I let them cast their Bone Crusher Giant. Ratchet Bomb kills animated lands. I'm gonna give you a break to read Ratchet Bomb. Yeah, it's a pretty big mistake, so I would have been able to force their mountain, or their land to chump block for their Nissa there. Fubard this game pretty badly by, letting them have their Bone Crusher Giant down to food as well. Well, not floating mana there implies they don't have a follow-up, so that's good for us. They just not attack me? Deal. One Kroxa, please. Cardboard Live is missing. Use Stream Decker. Stream Decker has the correct cards on it. Cardboard Live does not. Timor, thanks for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Would you like your lands or your Nissa? Like your Nissa. Makes sense. Cat here can let me gain some life in the face of Clothis hitting us every turn. But they still, even with only 2 lands, they have 2, 4, 5, 6 mana total this turn. See if we'll be able to win this game in spite of myself. Roar the Wurm notably being very instrumental in being competitive this game. Alright, chat, you know what? I just need to learn to go with my gut. The person that I gave the due diligence on of giving a respectful reply to on Twitter, because they were someone I'd known in person, doubled down with something more stupid than their first comment. So now they can go to the block list. They're not someone I'm probably ever gonna see again. Lesson learned. Don't cut people slack. Go with your gut. Block to begin with. I gave them my keystrokes, and they made me regret it. What are we doing? Yeah, I've been super underwhelmed by Ratchet Bomb so far. I'd rather have these. I mean, they're not a friend. They're just like someone that I've met in person. Their response to me saying that, well, if you know the cards a week in advance, you can at least get testing, was they said, and I quote, "So you're suggesting we don't have tournaments for a weekend? That sounds like nonsense," which is not what I said. You can feel free to go read the exchange and let me know if you think I'm off base, but pretty sure, yeah, the old move the goalpost and put words into your mouth that you didn't say. I never joined a frat in college, so I guess this is the closest I'll ever get to paying for friends. Thanks for the 3/4 of your mask. Welcome back. I think it's pretty good. We'll get to go oven into Kroxa. We can eat whatever we claim with the oven. Why do you think Claim the Firstborn is good against Winota? Kyle, can you explain? Because I think it's just okay there. It's not great. We have lame duck tournament formats regardless. We're not talking past each other's deck. They're just fucking stupid. They tried to imply that what I recommended does no, they didn't even imply. They tried to say point blank that what I suggested does something that it very much doesn't do. No, I don't really care about SpaceX. Yeah, that's the basically the jump they're making. They're saying what I'm recommending creates lame duck tournaments, and lame duck tournaments are like non-tournaments, but we have lame duck tournaments now. There's a standard event this weekend that I am no longer interested in playing because the format is a dead format. That's the reality. Yes, random shitter on Twitter. Random pooper on Twitter. It's not worth the breath. Should have blocked. Lesson learned. Always block. Lesson learned. Just ignore.
Strange and magnificent world. Be wary of the ground you walk on.
Block, eat this. I mean, they weren't not civil, and like this is the thing you really have to understand, and it makes social media so much easier if you understand this. The key for social media not being god-awful is that you can't just give people who aren't rude or who are civil the time of day. Because there are so many people out there who aren't going to tell you to bugger off or fuck off or whatever other swear word they want to use, but they're still wasting your time and they're still not engaging in good faith. The idea that because someone is civil, they're deserving of your time is really big nonsense. And you see that entitlement again from people. There's a lot of people that get upset when I block them and they're like, but Jeff, I wasn't rude. Why would you block me if I wasn't rude? It's like, well, you were kind of inconsiderate when you consider the fact that the purpose of your post was to basically waste my time. So yeah, like while you didn't scream profanity at me, and honestly, I'd rather someone scream profanity at me and be productive while doing it rather than being like, well, I am pleasant and I am here wasting your time and not bothering to make any meaningful points. How aggressive do we want to be here? I feel like the answer is like moderately aggressive. Do you feel like social media is necessary for businesses? Yeah, it's 2020. This is still 2 turns away from ulting. I think my plan here is to play Lurrus, play Priest. Try and get that going. They don't currently have any cards in hand, which means there's an incredibly good chance I get to untap with Priest next turn. Although you could maybe make the argument that they're going to be attacking for a lot, so maybe this is a little bit too slow. What's the advantage of Lurrus over Devil? Well, Lurrus generates incredible amounts of card advantage, and you always have it. Whereas, like, Devil is only sometimes useful, and you don't always have it. Hey, go Hollywood. Thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Oglandia. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday wherever you're at in the world. Thank you for allowing me time to read Ratchet Bomb. I'm a slow reader, but was able to read it in the 10 allotted minutes. God bless. God bless. Was this a good draw? What do we think of this one, chat? above average, maybe. Above average. So they have to chump block Kroxa or they're dead. Because Priest plus Cat will deal the extra 3. To make some mana here, drain them of some life. The arrow targets like not snapping properly is so tilting. I really hope they fix that bug sometime soon. I feel like, okay, conclusions after playing through that set. I feel like I want more games with Roar of the Wurm. I also feel like my gut reaction that Ratchet Bomb is not a main deckable card is probably accurate. I feel like the time it takes to get this going is just too slow a lot of the time, and I'd rather have like spot removal on the board. I think playing some of these for like just Kailuka and token decks and like White Devotion, for example, like playing a couple on the board is probably fine, but I think I prefer having something like Trophy that kills Winota at instant speed. Yeah, it's good against Field of the Dead too. Exactly. So I think I definitely want some in the 75. I don't think it's good enough to main deck, even though we can find it off of Trail. And then I think my list on the website right now is a third Wurm in this main deck. I could see playing a third Wurm or a third Binding. Either of those seem okay. I think I'd go to 3 Wurm for now, just to get more repetitions in to see really how this feels. With the upcoming potential change to companions on Monday, obviously what this deck looks like and how it works could look very different here momentarily, but we'll see. All right, that's going to be it for Magic for me